side of the ball, you have the Comets, who are coming off a pretty impressive shutout victory, 14-0 against the Princeton Vikings.
The crazy thing about that game, even though the score really doesn't indicate it, they only won 14-0. Mason dominated the time of possession, nearly over doubled Princeton's time of possession, and really controlled the tempo of the game. And really, Adams and Sora had great days. Adams had a 28-yard rushing touchdown, despite really they didn't pass the ball. They did their damage on the ground. And Sora also had a 3-yard rushing touchdown. So Mason really got it done on the ground and really was able to dominate the time of possession in that game.
Now, we mentioned that these are two of the top teams in the GMC. As far as GMC standings go, this game could not get more important. Fairfield is sitting pretty right now at a 5-1 record with the only losses we mentioned to Coleraine, whereas Mason has their work set out for them. They're 4-2 and kind of in a pack of 4-2 schools right now, along with Sycamore and Lakota East. And a win here tonight against a Fairfield team that beat Sycamore would do a lot for their ranking in the conference.
Absolutely. Mason comes in this game 8th, holding on to that last spot in the playoff rankings. So a win against Fairfield, who's sitting at 4th right now, would really increase their chances of getting in. Maybe even push them in altogether. But Mason has kind of been sitting at the bubble throughout this season, and it's really been the knock on the Comets has been they really haven't had that key signature win. All of their wins this year have been against teams that aren't in that top 8 projections. So if the Comets really want to make a statement here tonight, they got to be a team as talented as Fairfield.
And as you mentioned, kind of a lower ranking of opponents, not really the highest strength of schedule, especially here at home. The Comets have not faced extremely tough opponents like the Fairfield Indians. You had teams like Withrow that the Comets blew out 55-0. Hamilton, I think, was 32-7, and Middletown, who has yet to win a game yet this season, and will be looking for their first win against the winless Oak Hills Highlanders. Now, for players to watch on both teams, you have really high-key Division I recruits on both sides of the ball.
Absolutely. On one side, you have Malik Vaughn, the defensive lineman for Fairfield. He is sitting at tied for 2nd in the GMC in sacks, and he's really just really a huge headache for many GMC teams. Really gets in the backfield, makes plays behind the line of scrimmage. So this Mason offensive line is going to have a lot of problems trying to contain him all night. He has to be accounted for every single play. Would not surprise me if they double team him every play. But Malik Vaughn is one of the best defensive GMC players in the conference. And on the other side, you have Eric Miller, an offensive tackle, verbally committed to Purdue. He's been a staple on this Mason Common offensive lineman this year and has really established himself as one of the top O-linemen in the GMC. And you also have Christian Hutchinson, who's committed to Navy, and then Matt Sawyer, who's verbally committed to Indiana State. All three of them very talented players for Mason. They've been doing it for a long time.
And then the guy that, the big man that we haven't mentioned so far is left tackle for Fairfield, Jackson Carmen. He was the #1 on Fox 19's top 19 players in the Cincinnati area. He's had any offer you can imagine all over the country. He is going to have his choice of school. And Malik Vaughn is another guy. Those two players are really the highlight of this Fairfield team. And they've really been impressive so far this year. Malik Vaughn led a 4th and goal stop against the Sycamore Aviators against the Aviators in a game earlier this season that really kind of put the foot on the throat of the Aviators to beat them that game. But Carmen is an absolute wrecking ball in the offensive line, and he leads the way for the Fairfield rushing attack.
Absolutely, and there was a lot of preseason hype for Fairfield. There was a lot of buzz around the city about these Fairfield Indians, and Carmen and Vaughn had a lot to do with that, and it surprised a lot of people as they lost their first 2 games of the season, and they've done a great job kind of bouncing back, as their only loss since then has been the Coleraine. So Fairfield has done a great job kind of living up to the preseason hype, I would say.
As far as injuries go in this game, no significant injuries to any key players on either team. The one thing that the Comets were worried about this season was their kicker, and unfortunately earlier this season, Charlie Sipe, who won the starting job, went down with an injury, but Brooks Curran, the backup kicker, really came in and really proved his role.
Curran has done a great job so far. He hasn't attempted an actual field goal yet, but he's 5 of 6 on extra points, and he's been solid when he's been in there. He's the brother of a soccer player who's playing soccer at the next level. So it's in his genes. So Kern has done a great job being consistent on extra points, and he should be continuing that play in this game against Fairfield.
And as far as the kind of focus for each team, both teams really rely on pretty strong rushing attacks right behind the strength of both teams' backfields. For Mason, you've got Matt Sora, the Indiana State commit, and then for Fairfield, you got the trio of Juthan McClain, Tamar Boykin, and Jeff Tyus, all with over 70 carries on the year.
Absolutely. And Fairfield also has a very versatile player, Chico Robinson. He plays running back and receiver for Fairfield. He really gets it done both sides, both areas there. And there's a lot of talent on both of these offenses. Fairfield comes into this game as the #1 offense in total yards per game, and Mason is second in scoring. So both of these teams know how to put points on the board, and it'll be a fun matchup here in this game.
All right, so Brian, what do Mason need to do, and what does Fairfield need to do in order to come out with a win tonight?
I mentioned before that Fairfield is the #1 rushing defense in the GMC. They are very good at stopping the run, and Malik Vaughn has a huge role in that, but Mason's got to establish Matt Sora early so they can open up the passing game. That's been their game plan all year. And when Matt Sora has difficulties early in the game, Comets typically stall to begin the game. So if the Comets can establish Sora early and really get to this good defense here at Fairfield, I think the Comets can open up a lot of opportunities, not just running the ball, but passing as well.
That'll just about do it for us down from on the field. We look forward to broadcasting you this really high quality matchup between two of the top teams in the GMC. It's Mason senior night as well, so a lot of Mason seniors will have their last chance to perform on this field. Granted that they don't, not unless something weird happens and they end up hosting a playoff game. With Brian Hudnell, I'm Joe Deaton, and we'll catch you during the game tonight.
Airs it out, and it is intercepted again.
He's up off the field. He's got him in wide open down the left sideline. Fernandez, he gets the edge. He stiff arms a couple of tacklers. Look at this. What a hit. That is a great play. He's got a receiver. He's got him deep. Oh, what an interception. Wow. More. He's got an opening. Got past the second level. One man to beat.
Hello and welcome to Dwire Field here in Week 9. Welcome to amazing Mason High School campus. We have the Mason Comets taking on the Fairfield Indians. Welcome to ICRC TV Sports. I'm Joe Deaton alongside my partner for tonight, Brian Hudnell. And Brian, we have a very interesting matchup between these two teams. A lot of playoff implications, a lot of GMC implications on the line between the Comets and the Indians.
Absolutely. The magnitude of this game is huge for both teams. Mason comes into this game projected at the 8th seed right now. They've been on the bubble pretty much all year, so a win against Fairfield would only increase their chances of getting in, as Fairfield comes into this game at the 4th seed as of right now. And the knock on the Comets has really been they haven't had that key win yet this year, but a win against the Indians here at their home turf on senior night would really be a huge win for their chances for the playoff seedings going forward.
And it looks like the Comets deferred the ball away to open up the game, and we'll get to see a little bit from Brooks Curran, the sophomore kicker, the younger brother of Bryce Curran, who went on, after being an All-American soccer player in high school, went on to play for the Xavier men's soccer team.
Absolutely, it's in his genes, and he's been solid so far in his limited time. He's 5 of 6 on extra points. He hasn't attempted a field goal yet, but from all indications from his extra point success, he looks to be pretty solid. And both teams have taken the field here at Dwire Field. The crowd's on their feet, ready to cheer on this game, and it's going to be a good game here.
Curran set to kick off with Chico Robinson and Raekwon Williams back deep to return for the Indians.
Chico Robinson's a very good playmaker for the Fairfield Indians. He's an all-purpose player. He can hurt you running the ball and receiving the ball. So he's a very dynamic player for Fairfield, and see how he does here on this first return.
Curran to kick off senior night for the Comets. It's going to be Robinson. Across the 20 with a hole. Some good blocking, and Fairfield will set up shop at the 30-yard line. And you know, the Indians are really going to rely on that rushing attack, kind of really running right behind the big old 74 Jackson Carmen.
Jackson Carmen is ranked on pretty much every recruiting site you can think of, the #1 offensive tackle in the country. He's got offers from pretty much every college you could think of, and it's really helped their backs in this season, as they are one of the McLean is at the top of one of the top running backs here in the GMC leaderboards.
Jeff Tynes, the quarterback, is going to hand it off on first down, and that's going to be a first down carry of about 6 yards to start it off for the Indians.
Good run there by Fairfield. It was able to rush towards the outside. He was able to get tackled out of bounds as Comets were able to pursue him before he got any further. That'll be about a 6-yard gain, like you said, for Fairfield to start this game.
Comets are coming off of a shutout performance against the Princeton Vikings. Empty backfield for Tyus. That is into coverage, almost intercepted over the top by Tyree Mazzell, as both of the Mazzels on each corner for the Mason Comets have really found their way into the eyes of the opposing quarterback. They've each had a couple picks on the year.
The Mazzell twins have been a staple here in this Comet secondary, and they made a great pass breakup there. That pass was intended for Waquan Williams, #4 for Fairfield, as it'll be an important 3rd and 4 here for Fairfield. And let's see if this Comet defense can force a 3 and out.
Be huge for the Comets to start off, turning Fairfield around and giving themselves the ball right back. Kind of really eliminates that any sort of advantage that getting the ball first will give you. Tyus, it's just going to be a handoff straight up the middle, and he'll be stuffed, maybe getting back to the line of scrimmage. And there's that deep defensive line from the Comets, led by #57, Zayd Hamden.
Looked like Zayd Hamden as well. Jake Brasher there on the tackle, and that was a big down stop for this Comet defense. Now, of course, a Fairfield punt for the Indians, and a great 3 and out, like you said. And it looks like Tanner Canoe and Jake Orlando will return this punt here for the Comets. And a key stop there for the Comets.
Kick gets off clean, and it's going to be Canoe who waves for a fair catch, but he dropped it, muffed it, and it's going to be picked up, thankfully, by his teammate Tyree Mazzell at the 25-yard line. Mazzell, right place, right time to avoid an early mistake by the Comets.
Looked like Canoe misread that off the kick, and he looked like he ran further than he was supposed to. A good thing Tyree Mazzell was there to cover that, as that avoided the muffed punt there. As the Comet offense will take the field, and a player to kind of highlight here is Matt Zora. He is one of the better runners here in the GMC. He's 4th in rushing at 773 yards, and he's really the centerpiece of this Mason offense. So it'll be interesting to see how the Comets establish him early in this game.
Zora handoff. It's going to get just a couple yards on the play. You just saw Canoe come on the jet sweep. Fake across the backfield there. Canoe, a guy who just this season came into the lineup for the Comets. Normally you see him on the hardwood during the winter.
That was Uslan there on the tackle there. The senior defensive back was able to come down on Sorum once he crossed the line of scrimmage and got only about a yard there. Good tackle there by that Fairfield defense.
Adams is going to look to throw outside to Croy over his head, and Croy is going to take a shot with that overthrow over the heads of Adams.
And that was Raekwon Williams there on coverage there on Canoe, on Croy. And that was a big hit taken there by Austin Croy. He gets up fine. But it's been a little bit of a struggle here for Austin Croy to get started here in the season. He was one of the go-to guys last year. But Comps has spread the wealth here in this season, so he hasn't gotten – we haven't seen a lot of those impact plays that we're used to seeing from Croy. But if he gets the ball in his hands, he can make some plays here.
Always a deep threat as well over the top. Adams with Sora behind him in the backfield. He's going to fake it to Sora and drop back looking to throw. Now he's going to have to escape out of the pocket and throw over the head and cannot connect with Canoe by the 50-yard line. And the Comets will go 3 and out, or excuse me, was that? And that will bring up the punting unit for the Comets.
Greg Fitzpatrick kind of hit Adams right after he threw that, pushed him out of bounds. The Comet sideline didn't like that, but that was a great pressure there by that Fairfield defensive line. Malik Vaughn and Greg Fitzpatrick on the pressure there for Adams as he forced him to kind of throw it away into no man's land. And 2 3 and outs here to start this game by both teams, and Naglich will be a punt for the Comets.
Naglich gets it off well. Eric All back for the Indians. He'll catch it cleanly just in front of the 40 and gets out of a couple tackles. A little shake and bake to pick up an extra 10 yards, but was the ball free for the Comets? And the Comet sideline erupted. Looked like Terrell Mazzell just came down hobbling as he is helped up by his teammates.
It looked like the officials ruled this ball down by contact, and Fairfield will take the ball here at midfield around their own 47-yard line. So great field position to start here for Fairfield.
Looks like Terrell is going to find his way off the field as he looked like he maybe got hit weird. He really grabbed his knee after going down on the play. Robinson in motion, gets the handoff, trying to find room on the outside, but has nowhere to go with the containment.
Williams there on the end around, went in motion before that play to kind of give him a head start on the play. He was able to get the outside there and gain a pretty good chunk of yardage there on first down, making it 2nd and 3. Fairfield has a lot of big-time playmakers there, and they showed right there. Williams was able to get to the outside and run out of bounds, and that was a good gain of about 6 for Fairfield.
3 wide receivers on the field for Fairfield. Tyus, 2nd and 3, looking to pass into the flats, and it's going to be just out of the reach of all on the sideline. Our sideline reporter today, Aiden Corelli, down the sideline. What do you have for me, Aiden?
Jalen Johnson was there for the Comets. Third down and 3 now.
Thank you from down there on the track, Aiden. As a huge 3rd and 3 now for the Indians. I'd have to imagine they're going to pound it right up the middle. 1 wide receiver on each side. Tight in motion. Handoff up the middle. And he'll maybe get enough. I think he's punched for extra yardage to get the first down.
And that was Tamir Boykin, who looked to be stopped behind the line of scrimmage by a group of Mason defenders, but he kept his feet moving and he got well past the first down line. He got down around the 40-yard line, and that was a very good run by Boykin, breaking tackles and extending the play. Boykin is one of the more bigger playmakers here on this Fairfield offense. He has 5 TDs on the year on 367 yards rushing. So he is a very big-time playmaker here for Fairfield, and he showed that they're able to break many tackles there to move the chains.
First down of this game goes to the Fairfield Indians. Still 8:45 remaining in the first quarter in a scoreless game. Chico Robinson on the jet sweep, and he'll be tackled after a gain of 2.
And nowhere to go there for Chico Robinson on the end around. I've noticed here early that Fairfield likes to run the motion end around plays, and number 23 Cole Pierce was able to kind of keep that in check there as he did a very good job containing on that play, as Chico Robinson couldn't really go anywhere there. That was only about a gain of 2 for Fairfield.
Those 3 running backs for Fairfield really all get a similar amount of carries. All 3 of them between 70 and 77 carries on the year.
Yeah, I was thinking about it.
Tyus, 1 man sided in the backfield. It's Boykin who gets the first down handoff, and he's going to gain a few positive yards to set up a somewhat manageable 3rd down. And the Comet defense is going to have another opportunity to stop the Indians before they move into red zone territory.
A big hole there created by that Fairfield offensive line. Boykin had a lot of running room on that play. He was able to make a cut towards the middle of the field and gain a few extra yards there, and making it a more manageable 3rd and 5 for Fairfield. And it'll be interesting to see how this Comet defense responds here and avoid any damage here.
4 wide receivers, 3 to the right for Tyus.
And he's going to drop back looking to throw on 3rd and 5. Now trying to scramble to the outside. Breaks the tackle, and he's going to get first down yardage across the 30 to keep the chains moving for the Fairfield Indians.
And Tyus is able to run. He's a running quarterback. He has 3 touchdowns on running the ball this year. And he showed his mobility there, as he's a very all-around quarterback. He can hurt you with his arm and his legs. And he showed it there, breaking that tackle in the backfield. And again, moving the chains for Fairfield. Comets have had 2 opportunities to stop the Fairfield Indians on 3rd down, but they've missed some key tackles, and it allowed this drive to keep going.
3 wide receivers stacked close to each other on the right side. Tyus out into the flats. That's going to be Boykin across the 30. Breaks 1 tackle, spins out of another, but the Comets able to pursue and capture him on the sideline for a minimal gain.
Brasher was able to take down Boykin there for about a gain of 3 or 4 on the play. Great show of speed for Brasher. Really a sideline defender. He's the Comets' leading tackle on the year so far, and he's been the senior captain, a leader for the Comet defense to look up to, and he shows a lot of effort every play, and he made a great stop there on the sidelines there for the Comets.
Number 6, Terrell Mizell, back into the game for the Comets after tweaking his knee a moment ago. Man in motion, but it's going to be a handoff straight up the middle. And this is going to bring up another 3rd down for Fairfield.
Nothing really doing there for Fairfield, as the front 7 really made a good stop there. It looked like Zayd and Brasher again there, making the stop for the Comets. As that was only about a gain of maybe 3 on the play. It'll be 3rd and a long 4 here for Fairfield, as they are getting close to entering the red zone here. And let's see how Fairfield sets up here on 3rd and 4.
A little under 6 minutes, a little more than halfway through this first quarter. Beautiful sunset and great night to play some Friday night football. Tyus is going to hand off to Boykin, who has some room on the right side, but not enough for a first down, as now decision time will come up for the Fairfield Indians. Whether or not to go for it, looks like it's going to be about a 4th and 2 or 3.
Like Boykin initially broke Jake Brasher's tackle, but he was tackled before he got that first down line. Fairfield has had struggles kicking the ball all year. They've only attempted 3 field goals on the year. Their kicker, Eric Maddy, is 12 of 19 on extra points, so he really struggles kicking the football here in this game. So not a huge surprise that Fairfield's going for it here.
Tyus with 4 wide receivers, speed option out to Boykin, and he's going to be hit right at the line of scrimmage and dropped. And Cole Pierce coming up strong for the Comets is going to give them an opportunity to turn right around and give the offense the ball right at the 20.
And it looked like Pierce drove his man into the ball carrier right there, disrupting the play, making him cut inside. And it looks like it was Casey Miller that finished the job. And that was a great defensive stop here for the Comets, as they'll set up shop here at the 20-yard line.
Adams is going to have Caden Newhouse and Matt Sora behind him, with him in the backfield, an all-senior backfield here on senior night. It's going to be a handoff to Sora, trying to get to the outside. He's trying to use his speed, but he's going to be dragged down before he can get anywhere on the edge.
He was met by 2 or 3 Fairfield defenders there as he tried to bounce it outside. He was unable to outrun them. That's about a loss of maybe 2 or 3 there for the Comets. And it's going to be important for Mason to get Sora involved early. But this is a very good rushing defense, like we said pregame, #1 in the GMC. So it'll be interesting to see how the Comets game plan around that in this game.
2 wide receivers to the right for Adams. Newhouse in motion. And Adams dropping back, looking to throw, and is barely going to hit Canoe for a gain of about 3 on the play. Vaughn was right in the face of Adams.
Adams had to throw that ball very quickly, and it was a very low pass. He was barely got under that ball, but it looked like they regained those yards lost from the Sora carry play before. But Vaughn has already showed in this game that his playmaking is very evident, as Adams has been rushing passes at the start of this game. And it's a 3rd and 10 here for the Comets.
4 wide receivers set. Adams immediately under pressure, trying to get to the outside and make something positive out of the play. Gets back to the 20, but the Comets 3 and out, not even getting a positive yard outcome on the drive, and they're going to have to send the punt unit out.
The Town offensive line just looks confused on that play as multiple Fairfield defenders got into the face of Adams. Adams just had to run for his life there on that play. It was amazing that he got something on that play. A gain of 2 with that. But there'll be another 3 and out here for the Comets as this Fairfield defense is really showing their ability here early in this game.
Naglic, the second-year punter, is going to get away to All, who is going to fair catch it back at about the 47. So Fairfield is going to have pretty good field position to try and make something happen here on their 3rd possession of the game.
We saw last play that they were able to move the ball and convert on key 3rd down plays. And Fairfield is one of the best offenses in the GMC. They've come into this game #1 total yards per game, and they have dominated the field position battle early in this game. And that defense is really a huge testament why, as the Comets have really hadn't gotten much moving there on that side of the ball. But this Mason defense is going to be relied upon once again to make another crucial stop.
Tyus driving back, looking to throw. He's going to try to throw over the top and into coverage, and a flag will fly in, and that's going to go against the Mason Comets.
That's going to be on Terrell Mazzell, it looks like, as he never really turned around to field the ball. He was right in his face, and he made some contact before the ball got there, and that's going to be a penalty on Mazzell. Crucial penalty there for the Comets, as that'll be about a 15-yard penalty on the pass interference.
The first penalty of this game goes against Mason, and you know, if they want to try to win this game against one of the toughest teams in the GMC, they're going to have to minimize on those penalties and other mistakes.
Absolutely. Turnovers and penalties are often a direct correlation to game results. And, the team that can be the cleanest with the ball and penalties is probably going to win this game. But let's see how the Comets respond here after the key penalty.
Tyus from the gun, hand off to Boykin on the right side. He has some room on the right side following his blockers, and that's going to be a solid first down gain for the Indians.
A lot of running room there for Boykin as he was tackled out of bounds near the first down marker. I don't think he got all of it, but it looks to be about 2nd and 1, 2nd and 2, and Boykin is impressed here early, breaking tackles and really showing great vision here as he's making cuts to the outside towards the middle of the field. Whenever it's open, Boykin's making that cut and missing breaking tackles. So Boykin has been very good here to start this game.
Fairfield threatening into Mason territory. Tyus, man in motion, is going to hand it off once again. Looks like Chico Robinson on the jet sweep. No room on the outside, and he's going to be brought down right around the original line of scrimmage for a 9-yard loss on the play.
Big hit by Tyree Mazzell at the end of the play there. Chico Robinson really had nowhere to go there as the Comets did a great job containing Robinson as he pretty much had no choice but to run out of bounds. And that big hit by Mazzell was could give him some momentum here on this 3rd down. That was a loss of about 8, so huge play there by the Comets defense.
Not only is that a stop, but it also sets up a 3rd and long here with under 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Tyus looking at a 3 wide receiver set. He's going to drop back looking to throw. Looking deep, now avoiding pressure in the pocket. Gets across the 30. First down marker is the 27. He's going to get a first down on the carry. Great job by Tyus to keep looking downfield, but also realize the running lanes and take the first down.
It was very fun to watch Tyus run there as he was able to weave through the trenches there and find a hole, and he was able to get the first down for Fairfield as Tyus has shown his mobility early in this game, and it's converted key 3rd down for Fairfield.
Tyus. Looks like it's Boykin next to him in the backfield once again. Robinson, and it's going to be Boykin on the carry, and Tyree just missed a huge hit, and Naglic and Johnson combining for the carry, for the tackle on the play. We're going to throw it back down to the sideline for Aiden with some more information for us. 2nd down and 7. Another handoff to Boykin. He's going to be dragged down right in the backfield by the Comet defensive line.
And Chase Evans made a key tackle there in the backfield, and that was very, very impressive. He was able to shed his block and make the key tackle. That's about a loss of maybe 1 or 2 with that, but very good showing there by Evans, getting in the backfield and causing disruption in the backfield.
And that will be the last play of the first quarter. Rather uneventful quarter here in Comet Country, as Fairfield on their 3rd possession of the game is looking to knock out the first points of this GMC matchup.
And you mentioned it, a very uneventful first quarter there. This is going to be a very quick game. Both teams like to run the ball, and it's showed early in this game. So the pace of play is going to be very fast. It's going to be a lot of rushes to Sora, a lot of rushes to Boykin, McLean, Robinson, whoever Fairfield decides to go to. So it's going to be interesting to see how that evolves through this game, which team is going to switch it up and pass the ball. Fairfield had tried to do a long throw to All, I believe, and that was a pass interference by Mizell. So if they change it up, maybe they'll catch one of the teams off guard. So from what we've seen early in this game, it's been a lot of rushing plays for both teams.
I think the Comets really need to start getting things going and just get their first down and pick up any kind of momentum. You mentioned how Fairfield is just a dominant rushing defense, and with as much as the Comets rely on their rushing attack, that could be a real struggle for them as they try to move forward in this game and move the ball down the field and extend drives.
Yeah, we love to talk about Sora every game. He's a very good playmaker, but the Comets have playmakers on the receiving and tight end as well. They have Croy, Hutchinson, Dardis, Canoe. So if they choose to go that way, they're certainly capable of going that route, but it's really the front 7 of Fairfield that's been giving them problems, so it would not surprise me if they went to the passing game.
Tyus sees his check down to Chico Robinson on the flats, and Robinson's going to get a good pickup on 3rd down, and looks like it's going to set up a 4th and 1, and Fairfield's offense staying on the field.
They went for it last possession, and they were unable to convert, so let's see if Fairfield's able to convert on this crucial short down mark.
Looks like they're going to come out and measure. The official made the motion.
And we mentioned last possession that the kicking game for Fairfield isn't very strong.
And it's going to be a first down for Fairfield.
So the change will move here, and really Fairfield has been the team that's been showing balance on both sides of the ball. The Comet offense has really been struggling to really move the ball here early in this game. It's been Fairfield that's been consistently winning the field position battle, and they've been moving the chains, getting first downs. They just haven't been able to convert once they get to the red zone, as this Comet defense has made some pretty key stops here early in this game. But this Comet defense has been on the field for a long time, and they're starting to get tired here in the second quarter.
I'd say about a 5-minute possession so far. And it's going to be Tyus keeping himself, trying to get to the edge and cut up towards the end zone. And he's going to be knocked out of bounds inside the 5, close to another first down.
And that was a good display of blocking by Chico Robinson on Terrell Mizell. He was able to push Mizell more towards the inside of the field, which gave a running lane to Tyus, as he almost got the first down there, got a gain of 9 on the quarterback keeper. And that was a great show of blocking by Chico. And he was able to push Mizell out of the play and make a huge gain there on first down.
Indians looking to score the first points of the ball game. It's 2nd and 1 from the 4-yard line. They can still pick up a first down without scoring a touchdown. And they're going to come up with a jumbo set and only one wide receiver. Carmen moved to the right side of the field. They're going to run it that way on the jet sweep, and great penetration by Zayd Hamden and a late flag. And they're going to tack on a holding penalty on top of that. Zayd with a great tackle on Chico Robinson, but 10 yards is going to back up the Indians.
Crucial play there by Zayd Hamden, as they came in pretty much unblocked. He just pushed his blocker off of him and made the play behind the line of scrimmage. And the end around hasn't really been working too much here for Fairfield in this game, as the Comets have an answer for it, as it obviously seemed like they'd game planned for it. But that The play, it was kind of cool to see a play as short as that. There was a holding play. It was probably on Zaid to begin with, as he got a great start off the ball. And that'll back up the Fairfield Indians pretty much to the 17-yard line. It'll be 2nd and long here.
2nd and 15 for Fairfield. And they're going to fake the jet sweep. Now going to Boykin, who's trying to find room, tries to cut up the field, and he'll be dropped after a gain of about 6.
That was a great jump cut there by Boykin as he jumped inside and kind of avoided 2 defenders there. He was immediately tackled afterwards, but Boykin has shown some pretty good moves here in this first half. And he's done a great job breaking tackles here. And this Comet defense was able to keep him in check on that play for only about a gain of about 6 there. But another key 3rd down here for Comet defense as they're trying to keep Fairfield away from the end zone.
Fairfield going to talk over this 3rd down and 8 play, as you'd have to imagine with as inconsistent as you said their kicker was. This is 2-down territory.
They've shown it throughout this game. They've done it twice, and it would not surprise us once again if they keep going for it. This is something they've been doing pretty much all season, as Matthews only has 3 field goal attempts on the year for Fairfield. So they don't really have a huge amount of confidence in their kicker. So they like to go for it on 4th down and keep the drive going. So, but I mean, it is at the 11-yard line, so maybe they would elect to go on a field goal if they so choose. But I would think that Fairfield would have to get closer to the end zone if they ever want to consider a field goal, the way they've shown confidence in the kicker throughout this year. But yeah, they're deep in Comet territory. They're in the red zone once again. Let's see how Fairfield responds here and see if they can put the first score of the game.
Maybe a 28-yard field goal from where they are right now. 3 wide receivers set for the Indians. 3rd and 8. 11 minutes remaining in the first half. Tyus with 2 men in the backfield with him. And it's going to be dropped on the handoff. Looked like Tamar Boykin wasn't expecting the carry, as Tyus was about to go out on the speed option to the left.
It looked like Tyus had a lot of running room to the outside, so I'm surprised he gave it to Boykin on that play, as the Comet defensive line was waiting for Boykin on that handoff. So I think it caught Boykin off guard there, as he was surprised that Tyus didn't keep it. But it's a 4th and 8 here for the Comets, and Fairfield offense is staying on the field.
Zell and Brush are trying to pump up this Comet black hole. Tyus is going to drop back, looking to throw, looking in zone over the middle. It's going to be dropped, and then that'll be another turnover on downs for Fairfield, as the Comets are going to take over at their own 11-yard line. And once again, Fairfield with a missed opportunity on 4th down.
That was a pretty good throw there by Tyus. 83, Eric Hall. Looked like he had it in his hands, but it looked like he looked away right before he had the ball in his possession. And that'll be another turnover on downs here for the Fairfield Indians, as this Comet defense has been very clutch here in this first half, not allowing any points.
Eric Hall on the season, 25 catches for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. He and Chico have really been their top targets this year. No one else with more than 10 catches. Adams, Soar behind him in the backfield. Going to be another handoff to Soar straight up the middle, and he's going to plow forward for maybe a gain of a yard.
You gotta wonder how many times the Comets are going to keep giving it to Sora. The Fairfield has shown their ability to stop the run early in this game. So I would like to see the Comets open up the game here on the air, trying to give it to their playmakers on the outside, give it to Canoe, give it to Croy, Hutchinson in the middle, and really spread this Fairfield defense out, as the secondary isn't their strong suit. It's always been Fairfield's front 7, manned by Malik Van. So I would like to see the Comets open up here on the run some pass plays.
7 men in the box for Fairfield. Another run, Soar to the right, trying to find some room, and he's going to plow forward for a gain of a few. Gets to the outside with some room, and he's still down the sideline. He stayed in bounds across the 40, and it's a foot race. Soar distancing himself away from the Fairfield Indians. The officials maybe marking that he was down, and Soar now turning around.
looked like Sora was going to be tackled, but he was able to keep his feet moving, and he shrugged off the tackle there. And he had some running room in front of him, but it looked like he was just out of bounds when he broke that tackle. He was able to still move the chains, but a great play there by Matt Sora to move the chains there for the Comets offense. That was a great play there by Matt Sora.
First down of the game for the Comets on a play that just, I mean, you call it a game of inches. It must have been, I'd like to see the replay on just how close he was to staying in bounds on the sideline right in front of the Fairfield bench. Adams with Canoe in motion. It's going to be a bad snap to Adams. He's going to pick it up, looking to make something happen. Dance around, trying to hit the screen now, going to throw it over the head of Canoe back on the right side. And disaster avoided there for the Comets.
Great job by Adams to pick up that ball, kind of extend the play, see if there's anything that they can get out of that. He was able to run around the pocket and really just throw it out of bounds in the area of Canoe. Great job there by Adams to avoid disaster and avoid an intentional grounding too as well. He was able to get in the vicinity of Canoe without really making a bad throw. That was a great throwaway there by Will Adams to avoid any loss of yardage there.
Adams is going to pitch it out to Sora, and he's just going to plow into the Fairfield defensive front for a minimal gain.
But nothing really doing there for the Comet offense. That was a very short yardage game, which will make it 3rd and longer for Mason. And let's see. I would assume that the Comets would spread it out here and try and get it on the air. But there's 4 receivers here taking the field, and Adams is in the shotgun. So I would like to see, it looks like to be man-to-man coverage across the board here. So see how the Comets respond here.
No safety over the top. Adams looking over the middle, over the head of Sora, coming out of the backfield, and that's going to bring up 4th down for the Comets. On the sideline right now, number 17, the starting punter for the Comets, Naglich. He put in last year as well. Is currently on the trainer's bench, getting talked to by the trainers. Just stood up, but I think Logan Dalton's going to come on and kick this one away.
Logan Dalton punted to start this season as Naglich. He was hurt kind of to begin the year, but Logan Dalton did a solid job in his absence. Well, that play to Sora there, Sora had a lot of running room in front of him, but this throw was just over his head and out of his reach. But that would have been a huge play on the air there for the Comets. But just an overthrow there, but the Comets would look to punt here.
Solid punt from Dalton, end over end. Bounces at the 35, straight across the field, and Alex Tavella will recover it for the Comets. And Fairfield, they got oh so close the last 2 possessions, really starting to show that what they're capable of. The first time out, they went 3 and out, then went to about the 30-yard line before turning it over on downs, but then that last possession right on the lip of the end zone before being unable to convert. So they're looking at this possession right now, having confidence in how they've moved the ball against Mason's defense.
Fairfield's done a good job moving the ball, like you said, and the story of this game has really been the defenses of both teams. They both have made some crucial stops to the opposing offense, and this 0-0 score is an indicator of that. And both of these defenses have been great so far.
Check out into the flats. It looks like either Robinson or Williams, and he's going to be brought down by multiple Comets after a gain of about 2.
And looked like they threw like a short route out of the backfield. It looked like it was number 4, Raekwon Williams, as he was able to have some open field in front of him. It was open field tackle there by Cole Pierce, as he was able to kind of shove him out of bounds for a gain of 4 on the play. We were trying to use Raekwon Williams' speed with some running room, and that was a pretty solid gain on 1st down, as it'll be 2nd and 6.
37-yard line. Tice is going to hand this one off to Boykin. He's going to be brought down in the backfield, and it looks like Zaid once again becoming familiar with the backfield of the Fairfield Indians.
Another good stop there by Zaid Hamden on Boykin. Boykin couldn't go anywhere, as looked like Zaid Hamden performed a wrestling move there in the backfield, and as there'll be a loss of 4 there for Fairfield. It'll be a 3rd and 10. We're interested to see how they combat this 3rd and 10. as they usually do their damage on the ground, but they'll have to most likely go in the air.
7 minutes remaining in this first half for the Comets and the Indians. Tyus with the 4 wide receiver set. He's going to look to pass. Looking to the outside, had a wheel route. Now he's going to take it down, looking to the run. A long way to go for the first down marker. And the Indians are going to have a 4th and long here with another critical decision coming up.
Cole Pierce was covering the flats there on that play as he was guarding the sidelines, and no one really came to his area. So when he saw Tyus run, he made a play on the Fairfield quarterback and made a pretty key tackle there by only keeping the game to about 2 or 3. And that was a great show of coverage there by Cole Pierce and making that key open field tackle on Tyus and forcing a Fairfield punt.
Sora and Dart is back deep to return this one. And it's going to take a pretty friendly Fairfield bounce before being recovered just inside the 25-yard line. And the Comet offense just got their first down on the last possession. Now they're looking to take it one step further.
It's interesting to see Sora back there returning punts, as that's something he usually doesn't do. So maybe Kastner was looking to maybe provide a spark here on special teams by putting Sora on the punt returning there. But that was a interesting little move there by Kastner, trying to get something started here for this Comet offense. They had a sign of life there in that last drive and that long run to Sora. So we'll see how they can respond there after getting some pretty good momentum from the last drive. They showed they were able to move the chains there. See how the Comets here kind of close this half here.
Adams looking to throw. He's going to fire. He's got his man open. It looks like Hutchinson over the top. The big tight end is going to get a huge possession. I think that's the first completion of the game for the Comets. And Will Adams is going to find Hutchinson for a big first down into Fairfield territory.
Looked like there was a blown coverage there by Fairfield as Christian Hutchinson was wide open. The throw was slightly underthrown by Adams. If he would have let him a little more, Hutchinson probably would have had more yardage there. But it looked like they covered the flats there and kind of ignored the middle of the field. And Hutchinson had a lot of room to run there. And he was able to cross midfield, like you said, for a first down.
Adams hand off to Sora, trying to get to the edge. Being chased by Malik Vaughn. He'll be dropped at the line of scrimmage by Vaughn and several other Indians on the play.
Yeah, Sora showed a pretty good deal of patience there, kind of waiting to see if a hole would develop there. But nothing really doing there on that play as he tried to kind of sprint towards the sideline there, see if anything would develop. But he kind of put his head down towards the end and tried to get what he could. But no gain there for Sora, as Malik Vaughn and others were able to stop him, like you said. And it'll be about 2nd and 10 here for the Comets.
Canoe, the man in motion, to give 3 wide receivers to the right for Adams. He's going to roll that direction. Got an extra blocker, now fires and hits Canoe for a solid gain. And that will bring up a 3rd and manageable for the Comets.
And Canoe went on motion before that play to the wide side of the field, forcing the Fairfield defender to go with them, which gave him a kind of a head start as he ran a bubble route towards the sidelines. And he was able to have a lot of running room in front of him after that catch. So that was a good play call there by the Comets, putting Canoe in motion and getting him kind of a head start, as he's one of the faster players on this Comet offense. And that was a good pass call there by Mason. And that was about a gain of 8 for Canoe.
5 minutes remaining, and a quick timeout is going to be called by Kastner. He didn't like something as he ran right out with the official to make sure that they got that. As they're going to talk over this critical 3rd down here, as you're kind of in that no man's land territory where you're not quite to field goal range and you really want to keep the drive moving to try to put yourself in position to score some points.
With 5:06 left here in the first half, it would not surprise me if the Comets, this is 2-down territory for the Comets, as they're probably trying to get the first points on the board before halftime. They get the ball back at halftime, so if they could score here and then potentially get the ball back at halftime, that would be doing the Comets wonders here, trying to create a lead on Fairfield. This is a crucial series of plays coming up here for both teams. It'll likely dictate how this game is played in the second half, depending on which team is successful.
3rd and 2, the 39-yard line. I'd be really surprised if this went any other direction than Sora.
Especially on a 3rd and 2, this is 2-down territory. If I would like to see 2 running calls to Sora, trying to get those 2 yards and get the first down.
Chase Evans into the game for the Comets. Fairfield's going to have 5 down linemen with Vaughn right on the nose. No wide receivers for the Comets. Hand off straight to Sora, straight up the middle, and he's going to be stopped after maybe a gain of 1. It was definitely not enough to pick up the first on the play. They might get a generous spot, but it looks like they're going to come up inches short.
Sora kept his feet moving towards the end there. He was able to gain a little bit more, but you're right, it's about a yard short there for the Comets. Be about 4th and inches. And I would be surprised if the Comets were to punt this. I would not. If I was in Castor's position, I would keep going and trying to get a key first down and keep this drive going. But that was a clear run from the get-go, as there was, like you said, no receivers, and there were 2 fullbacks there in the backfield leading away there for Sora.
Here we go.
That's the same formation here on this 4th and 1.
4th and inches. Sora directly behind Adams. Adams looked like they just tried to draw Fairfield outside. Adams is going to call the second timeout for Mason of the half. Brian, do you think they're going to come out of this timeout with a play, or they're going to come out and punt it?
I see it going 2 ways. It's either another run to Sora inside, playing some smash mouth football, or I could potentially see a play action, maybe like a short route to the tight end Hutchinson, or maybe like a short bubble out to Canoe to get the first down. They could use Sora as a decoy on this 4th and inches. If I'm Castor, I would call it to Sora, just run it up the gut. I'd be confident in my stick it to this Fairfield defensive line and really get those hard-earned yards. But it would not surprise me one bit if there was like a play action to Hutchinson, like a short pass route.
Hutchinson, the only receiver on the field.
But I would think it would be the Sora here on a play crucial like this.
Here we go. 4th and inches from the right hash. Adams, he can run it himself. He's going to hand it off straight up the middle to Sora, who dances through the hole, and he's going to pick up enough yards for the first down.
And Sora made a nice cut there when the hole opened up. Looked like he was going to cut to the outside, but he cut back to the middle of the field, able to convert the first down for Sora, and that's a key 4th and inches conversion for the Comets. And this extends the drive here. 4:12 left here in the first half.
And it looked like Zaid and Jake Brasher were both in on the play for some extra weight on the offensive line.
Absolutely, those defensive players are one of the 2 most aggressive defenders, so having him in the back here clearing the way for Sora was not a surprise.
Adams is going to take it himself, has some room across the 30 and shows his speed. He's going to break off before being tripped up by his ankles. Adams showing his speed through the hole, as he's just an explosive quarterback, and he's showing why that the Comets went with Adams for the starting QB role this season.
Adams has 4 rushing touchdowns this year, and he's a very talented rusher. And everyone bit towards Sora's way on that read option. That left a huge running room amount there for Adams, but it looked like there may be a penalty on the Comets negating that play.
Our sideline reporter down on the side, Aiden, did you catch what the penalty was? And we're not sure if he heard us from down there, as we're going to wait from the official.
It was a holding call on the Comets.
It's going to be a holding call against the Comets to negate the Adams rush. And just like that, we talked about how little mistakes are going to dictate who wins this game. Adams driving back to pass on 1st and 15. Get Canoe out in the screen, has some blockers, trying to dance around. He's going to pick up a good gain of about 7 on the play.
I love the play call. It was a fake, like a pump fake to Sora to the opposite side of the field. Then they dished it out to Canoe in the slip screen to the left wide side of the field. And that gave Canoe some blockers in front of him, some open running room. And that was able to split the distance kind of in half. That was a pretty good call there by the Comets, getting Canoe some wide open running room and some blockers in front of him. He was able to make a big play there after the throw.
Newhouse in motion in the backfield. Adams, another handoff to Sora, cuts up through the hole, ran straight through 2 Fairfield defenders to fall down for positive yardage, and that's going to be 3rd and about 1 here, as I cannot imagine that the Comets, if they don't pick it up on this play, would try for a field goal.
It would definitely negate any reason for going for it on 4th down beforehand. Maybe before halftime they would kick the field goal, and then they'd get the ball back at halftime and maybe they would try and get that touchdown then and make it a 2-possession lead. But I think if you're trying to set the tone here at the end of the first half, you try to go and get the touchdown.
Miller shifted over to the right side, and that's where Sora runs through a great hole. He's going to pick up enough yardage to get the first down and move into Fairfield territory. And Comets, having their best drive of the night so far, have moved into the Fairfield red zone and are knocking on the door.
And they've just entered the red zone for the first time this game. And Sora, Comets are beginning to figure out this Fairfield defense as more holes are starting to form. Like I said, the Comets are beginning to figure out this Fairfield defensive line, this front seven, as more holes are starting to form for Sora to run through. And it seems like once Fairfield bites on the run to Sora, either Adams keeps it for a QB keeper, or there's a play action pass to Canoe or the Hutchinson to the opposite side of the field. So it seems like the Comets have a steady rhythm of plays going here, and it seems to be working here on this drive.
We're going to throw it down to the sideline for Aiden for some more information. Thank you, Aiden. And with 2 minutes remaining in this first half, in a game that's gone by rather quickly, Adams is going to give another handoff to Sora. He's going to break the first couple tackles before he's still going to stay on his feet. And the spot is going to give him about a gain of a yard. And a very late flag as Austin Croy looked like was wrestling with Raekwon Williams, I believe, in the secondary.
This could be a crucial call here by the officials.
This would be a half a distance to the goal if it went against Fairfield, and will back up the Comets 15 yards if it went against Mason. Kastner not happy regardless that Croy was in on the play. The officials talking it over. It was a very late play, but Croy and Williams were definitely locked up with one another.
I get a dead ball, personal foul. 9 the offense. Dead ball, personal foul, 4 the defense. They're going to offset down count, second down.
A lucky break there for the Comets.
If that was on just Croy, that would have been a 15-yard penalty after the play. That would have been a crucial penalty, backing up the Comets 15 yards out of the red zone. And that would make a second and long for the Comets, and that's something you don't want at this stage in the game when you're trying to get the first points on the board. Luckily, the officials called it. Luckily for the Comets, the officials called it offsetting penalties, and we just replayed it down.
Big pitch out to Sora. Adams rolling out to his right with time. He's going to fire to the end zone, and he's got his man in the end zone for a Comet touchdown.
Great rollout there by Will Adams. Great throw. He did it right where he needed to. And that will get the first points on the board in this ball game. And that's a touchdown pass by Will Adams. And that was a great throw there by the Comets, by Will Adams. Great, right where it needed to be. And that was a great pass there by Adams. It really couldn't be anywhere else there for that pass.
Huge play in the swings of this game. Fairfield is going to only have a minute and a half to work with to try to match what the Comets just did. Number 33 for Fairfield is down Nico Bell, as he is now being helped off to the sideline. But the Comets with a huge break there. Great throw, great catch to put the Comets up on the board.
And it looks like Bell will be okay as he kind of walks towards the sideline. And the Comets will not go to do the swinging gate formation as they'll line up regularly. And Brooks Curran will attempt this extra point to put the Comets up 7.
Tanner Canoe, the placeholder for Mason. Pretty huge point after in a low-scoring game. Curran gets it off clean and knocks it through the uprights for the Comets.
And that's a huge drive there by the Comets, kind of towards the end of the first half. And we said earlier, they get the ball back after halftime to begin the second half. And that really sets the momentum and sets the tone at the end of this first half. Mason defense still has to stop Fairfield before the half, but that's a huge set of plays there by the Comets to really get their momentum going.
Now, ball's in Fairfield's court. They've had success against the Comets on the offensive end. Mason just easily have their best offensive possession, and they're going to be coming out hungry. But can the Mason defense step up to the challenge, and can the Fairfield offense take the step and punch through?
I think the thing that's really been going unnoticed in this game is the key crucial third and fourth down stops by this Mason defense. As, like you said, Fairfield's been driving into Comet territory. They've been in the red zone multiple times, but they've been unable to really put points on the scoreboard, and they were unable to convert like 4th and 2, 4th and 3. And the Comet defense has really been clutch here on those key conversion plays. And with 1:31 left, there's not going to be a lot of room for error here by both teams to end the half.
Curran is going to pooch this one over to the sideline. It's going to be recovered at the 30 by Eric All. And the Comets are claiming that the ball popped out, waiting for the officials, and the officials
That's Comet football.
are going to give this one to the Comets.
That is huge. The Comets love to do that pooch kick to make something happen there. And they were able to force the ball loose, and they'll get the ball at Fairfield 38-yard line, and they could potentially put more points on the board, make it a 2-possession lead before halftime, and that's a huge special teams play there by Mason.
Not only do you give your defense the break of not having to make that stop, but you put the Fairfield defense back onto the field right after they were just grinded on all the way down the field, and to be put right back out there with such short rest is going to be a quick test to see how much this Fairfield defense will respond.
I'm interested to see where the Comets are confident in Curran's kicking ability, as he hasn't attempted a field goal yet. So it'll be interesting to see what the line is for him.
Adams gets tackled back in the backfield for the sack, unable to dodge number 41 for Fairfield on the play, Antoine Hill.
Bill's able to get there and able to catch the shoelace there of Adams, tripping him up there behind the line of scrimmage. That was a pretty big loss there for the Comets, about a 10-yard loss on the sack. Puts him near midfield. And see how aggressive the Comets play here, whether they go for the first down or try to play it safe and take their lead here. And it'll be 2nd and 20 once here for the Comets.
Mason let the clock run all the way down to 40 seconds, and Adams is going to take the snap with 4 wide receivers set before taking himself on the quarterback draw, and he's got some room. A big hit across the 40, and he is pulled right up, and a huge hit delivered by Rudy Jones from Fairfield.
Jones kind of put his shoulder into Adams at the end of that play, causing Adams to kind of make a flip there. As this clock keeps running, it looks like the Comets are content with the lead that they have. Looks like they'll have one more play here.
They do have a timeout, 12 seconds on the clock, now 11 when they snap it, and Adams is going to have to roll out, fire out to the sideline, and falling out of bounds. It looked like Canoe on the catch.
And 5 seconds left on the scoreboard. It looks to be pretty far for Curran. I'd be surprised if they tested the young kicker here as for his first attempt ever.
Got to question the play calling as far as how much time they were willing to take off the clock just like that. The Comets were looking at almost a minute and a half to work with. And in, 2 plays, they're down to, or 3 plays, it's 4th and 5 right now. They've got 5 seconds remaining on the clock.
Yeah, that didn't really make a whole lot of sense there, as they still were in pretty good field position, as they could at least try and get into Curran's range. We still don't really know. We still don't really know what that range is for Curran, but you gotta give him a chance, especially just with the time left here in the first half. See if he can get that 2-possession lead before going into halftime. But with only 5 seconds left and using their last timeout, kind of confused on why the Comets were so conservative there at the end of the first half.
Comets talking this one over on the sideline. The ball is spotted at the 32-yard line. which would be about a 49 or a 50-yard field goal. The flag is completely limp on the flag post. There will be no headwind or tailwind. The ball is on the right hash. Not very ideal conditions for a sophomore kicker to run out there and try this one, and I think the offense is going to come out.
And Kern's only miss on the year was a blocked extra point. And you could argue that the reason they missed that is because Kern kind of took a while to get to the ball once it was snapped. So maybe they're kind of wary of a blocked kick that could be returned for a touchdown from Fairfield's end. But with 5 seconds left, see what the Comets do here in the half.
4 wide receiver set. Adams is going to drop back. Fairfield rush 5, and a deep throw is going to go over the head of the intended receiver, Canoe, on the play. And a kind of disappointing way to end the half for the Comets. A great job by the offense to put the touchdown up on the board, but with the fumble, you really wanted the Comets to get that extra score there at the end of the half.
At the very least, Fairfield didn't have a chance to put a dent into that lead that the Comets got. But I mean, that's a 7-0 lead going into halftime. The Comets established momentum here going into halftime, into the second half. So that was a huge drive to end the half, putting points on the board for the Comets. And let's see how what they draw up, what adjustments they make here in the second half.
And it looked like we were trying to get a halftime interview with Kastner. I'm not sure if he has enough time, and we're trying to rush him in before the band gets over. And we'll now throw it down to Aiden right on the sideline with Kastner before the end of the half.
I've been here with Coach Kastner. But at the beginning of the first half, your team, you were going back and forth with Fairfield. What changed for you guys and was able to capture momentum in this football game?
We just stayed at it. We're built for this, all right? This is what this is why we do what we do in the offseason. And we grinded, and we knew it was going to be a grind. But this is high school football at its best right here. This is why you play this game.
And then one last question. Obviously, putting up a goose egg against the Fairfield Indians is something that teams don't do too often. How proud are you about this defense? All right. Thank you.
And that'll conclude the first half for us here at Dwire Field, and we'll catch you right back at the start of the second half.
The William Mason High School marching band is under the direction of Johnny Beebe, Tracy Sweppy, Andy Atchison, Joe Woody, James Harmon, Frank Cummings, Nick Marquardt, Dan Schlack, Rob Cooney, Molly Grouch, Rick Berens, Heather Graham, Amanda Morris, and John Bradner. The Mason Band would like to invite all of you to the 2017 Mason Invitational Marching Contest tomorrow, beginning at 9 a.m. and concluding at 5:30 p.m. with an exhibition performance by our own Mason High School Marching Band.
Oh, okay. We can see stuff.
We have. Mason with a great goal line stand. There you see Zayd Hamden. That was from the first half, helping the Comets keep Fairfield scoreless here in this critical GMC matchup.
You also saw the drop pass there by Fairfield in the red zone. A key stop there by the Comets.
Huge play there to Christian Hutchinson from Adams, the first completion of the game, and a huge first down for the Comets. See the Comets getting hyped there, and then Adams finding, looked like Canoe there in the end zone.
Just a beautiful pass over Raekwon Williams, and that put the first points on the board in this game. And really, that ball couldn't have been anywhere else for that to be a completion. Beautiful throw there by Adams, and both teams have taken the field here to begin the second half. Mason will receive the second half kickoff.
Comets back to return. Johnson, Mazzell, and Canoe, the three men deep.
Comet kicking return has not returned one for a touchdown yet, so they're definitely due for one in this game.
Pooch kick to about the 25-yard line. That's going to fall down and picked up. Looked like by Johnson. And the ball popped out. Looked like Tyree fell onto it. And a big missed mistake there as Mazzell able to be in the right place at the right time to recover the fumble.
The Comets have had two of those now. They had one earlier in the first half as well, where Terrell Mazzell saved the fumble. And then now Tyree, his brother, saved that one. So the Comets have been fortunate. The bounces have been going their way and not turning that ball over in their own territory to begin the second half. That would be a horrible way to begin this second half. But luckily for the Comets, they fall on it. The Comets will take the field around their own 25-yard line, and they're set to start their first drive in the second half.
First and 10 for the Comets. Will Adams looking to make something happen here and make this a two-score game. It took the Comets a full quarter and a half to really get a good drive going. Adams handles the snap and gets the sweet pass to Canoe, who finds some room on the outside, and he'll be tackled out of bounds after a good gain.
Good gain there by Canoe, like you said. And he was able to patiently wait for his blockers to get in front of him, and he was able to make a cut and then eventually get pushed out of bounds. So it was about a gain of maybe 5 or 6 there for Canoe, as the motion plays have really been Fairfield's forte, but that time the Comets kind of took a play out of Fairfield's playbook there and ran their own end around. And a very good play there to start second half here for the Comets.
2 men in the backfield with Adams. Newhouse and Soren. It's going to be a handoff straight to Soren, who has a hole, and he'll be dragged down at the 40-yard line. Excellent open field tackle by Rudy Jones from Fairfield.
And Rudy Jones possibly saved a very big run there for Soren, as he had some running room in front of him. He had a little hole there if he was able to get past Jones, but lucky for Fairfield, they were able to stop Soren from the play getting any worse for them, as he's tackled around the 41-yard line. And that will move the chains here for the Comets for the first down.
Looks like a quick equipment timeout there. Something going on with one of the Fairfield players. And now the Comets ready to go. Canoe and Croy, one wide receiver to each side. Adams with Canoe in motion. He's going to hand off to Newhouse up the middle, and he's going to pick up a few yards on first down.
And that's something we haven't really seen this year from the Comets. Caden Newhouse getting the ball. Malik Vaughn there on the tackle on Newhouse. But Newhouse has usually been, they like to put him in many different positions. He plays on the defensive side of the football as a safety, and he likes to play receiver sometimes, but that time Newhouse was on the backfield there for the Comets taking the carry. As they were able to gain about 4 there for the Comets.
Newhouse in motion, another handoff to Sawyer. He's going to sprint right into the hole, and a huge collision there at the line of scrimmage, as he'll be lucky if he picked up a yard.
Good stop there by the Fairfield defensive line as Malik Vaughn and Fitzpatrick were able to tackle Sawyer there for about like a gain of 1 or 2 there, making it around 3rd and 6 for the Comets. And we're approaching midfield here, approaching Fairfield territory. So if the Comets can convert this first down, they'll probably get some good field position out here early in the second half.
Canoe the man in motion. Adams is going to roll out to his right. Now looking downfield, he's got a man wide open. It's Dardis at the 15, and he's going to be dragged down. And a huge play as Alec Dardis finds his way past the secondary, and the Comets are going to have first and goal inside Fairfield red zone.
A touchdown saving tackle by Simpkins as Alec Dardis was wide open. There was no one in sight for Dardis as Simpkins had to run from the opposite side of the field to make that tackle, and now the Comets are in the red zone here.
All the momentum on the side of the Comets. Adams communicating with his offensive line. Sawyer has some room, and he's going to fall inside the 5-yard line.
And right after that motion, Fairfield shifted to the wide side of the field towards the left, and then the Comets ended up running right. So it looked like that play call fooled the Fairfield defense as Sawyer had a decent hole to run through as he almost got the touchdown, but he was able to, he got tackled down there by number 2, Kyle Schimpf, and that was a pretty good gain there in the goal line down for Sawyer.
Zaid and Brasher both into the game for the Comets. Another Sawyer handoff straight up the middle. Does he have room? Yes, he does. Touchdown, Mason Comets, as they take a 2-score lead here on senior night against the Fairfield Indians.
That's Sawyer's 12th touchdown on the season, giving the Comets a 2-possession lead here in this game as Sawyer came into this game second in the GMC in touchdowns, as he's been the Comets' consistent playmaker all year, and he makes a great run there behind his offensive line.
Swinging gate, Canoe, and he's going to go for 2 here. Canoe, and he's going to got it. He's going to get it. Comets 15, Fairfield 0.
And the Comets love to run that swinging gate formation on extra points where the offensive line is down on the wide side of the field, and it's just Canoe and a center there waiting to get the snap. And Canoe saw the opportunity. It looked like Fairfield was a little confused on how to defend that, and Canoe was able to take the direct snap and get the 2-point conversion, making it a 15-0 lead for the Comets. And that will cause Fairfield to, at some point, have to convert a 2-point conversion to tie the game if they want to. And that is a huge special teams play there by the Comets.
And we're going to throw it back down to the sideline for Aiden Crowley. Aiden, what happened on that last possession?
Change your battery real quick. All right.
Thank you, Aiden.
I really like how in the goal line they put Brasher and Zaid Hand in there to really make a huge hole there for Matt to run through.
Looks like it's going to be Chico Robinson for the Indians, and he's going to be tackled down inside his own 15-yard line. Excellent job. Flag came in late, and if that's on Fairfield, that's going to back them up inside their own 10.
There was like 4 or 5 Comets there converting on Chico Robinson, nowhere to go. And if this is on Fairfield, and it indeed is a holding on Fairfield, that'll back them up even further and giving this Comet defense a lot of room to work with and stopping this Fairfield offense. And right now, this has been going the Comets' way.
Number 2, Kyle Schimpf called for the penalty there, and all the momentum in the world is on the side of the Mason Comets right now here on senior night with a 15-0 lead with 8.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
It'll be interesting to see how Fairfield responds to the newfound Comet momentum as they're deep in their own territory trying to find anything to go their way. They have a spread out here with the wide receivers, on 2 wide receivers on each side, so trying to create some space here for their offense.
Tyus, his heels on the goal line, is going to hand it off straight up the middle. Looks like Tamar Boykin on the carry.
And nothing really doing there for Boykin. About a gain of 4 or 5, a solid run on first down, making it 2nd and 5 for Fairfield. And they kind of shied away from Boykin towards the end of that first half. So I like that they're reestablishing the carry for Boykin. See if Boykin can make a play for Fairfield.
2nd and 5. Another handoff, this time to McClain, and he's got some room out to the 20 before he's going to be brought down in the secondary by Johnson and Pierce.
And Jackson Carmen there led the way for Fairfield, making a huge hole for McClain to run through, as it looks like Carmen just pancaked his defender on that replay, and McClain was able to run through there and get a first down as he was tackled there by Jalen Johnson. But great run there by McClain. He's Fairfield's leading rusher heading into this game, and he was able to get the first down there for Fairfield.
Tyus with 2 wide receivers to each side. Man in motion, it's going to be a jet sweep, and it looks like McClain with another carry, and Tyree Mazzell able to bring him down after a minimal gain.
Hard tackle there by Tyree Mazzell as he brought him down by his jersey. And McClain looks to be slow to get up there after that tackle. That was a pretty rough tackle there by Mazzell, but clean nonetheless, as it wasn't a horse collar. And that just a short gain there by Fairfield, as there'd be a 2nd and 9 for the Indians. And that was a pretty crucial tackle there by Mazzell, and it made it kind of avoided Fairfield the big play on first down.
McClain holding his back all the way to his position out to the outside. Robinson is going to be a fake jet sweep, and Tyus is going to take it up the middle. And after a gain of 2, Casey Miller is going to bring him to the ground to bring up 3rd down for Fairfield. We're going to throw it down to Aiden real quick on Juthan McClain, who was holding his back after that last play. Big 3rd and 5 here as Jones is going to look to throw. Pushed out of the pocket. Now coming up for the tackle is Reed Naglich. Coming from the linebacker position, makes the big tackle to prevent the first down. And Fairfield's going to jog their punting unit onto the field.
Reed Naglich looked like it was covering the flats, kind of middle of the field area, and no one really came into his area. And he saw Tyus roll out to the right side of the field, and he came out of nowhere and
there you see number 17.
And tackled Tyus. Very good play there by Reed Naglich on 3rd down, forcing Fairfield to punt. Great play there by the senior linebacker.
Fairfield gets it away clean. And it's going to be a catch by Sora back at the 40-yard line. And looked like Dardas had a bit of a fair catch sign, but Sora wanted to run with it.
Sora returning that punt, there wasn't really much doing there in front of him, so I'm surprised he returned that. I would have, if I was in position, I'd probably fair catch and get the good field position starting out on this drive, as it's around the 40, 41-yard line. And the Comets are winning the field position battle here early in this second half. There's 5:06 left here in the third quarter. And it was interesting to see how the Comets respond after scoring on that last possession. They obviously found a weak spot in this Fairfield defense in the passing game. See if they continue to go that way.
Adams in the pistol. Handoff straight up the middle to Soar, who has some room across the 50. Trying to get to the outside, and he breaks the tackle to get to the edge. Now tackled out of bounds, and a big carry from Matt Soar to pick up huge yardage.
Number 9, Austin Corder, was just able to chip his man towards the inside of the field, giving Sora some running room to the outside. And that was a great run there by Matt Sora. Great show of vision there. As you see on your monitor, Corder was able to push his defender into the inside of the field, giving a lane for Sora to run through, and he's tackled out of bounds at the 40-yard line.
Comets into Indians territory, 1st and 10 at the 40. Indians move 8 men into the box. A fake to Logan Dalton, and Adams takes it himself. Has some positive yardage before being wrapped up after a gain of about 4. And Aiden has some information for us on that last carry from Sora. Aiden?
Yeah, we saw it towards the end of the first half. Matt Sora has slowly been tearing down this Fairfield defense, rush defense, which has been so great at the start of the first half. Now you see them start to get tired. They start to stand up, looking for air, and Matt Sora's taking advantage like you just saw there, breaking a tackle and getting a huge carry. Matt Sora's starting to take over in this football game. Joey?
Still a lot of time left in this game. 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Fake handoff, Adams, nowhere to run. He's going to be brought down in the backfield. And it looked like there was some room out to the edge with several Indians in front of him.
Looked like if he really gave it to Dalton, there was a hole for Dalton to run through if they were to give it to him. But Adams kept it, and there was about 2 Fairfield defenders in the backfield that met him. Nowhere really to go there for Adams, as he was kind of stuck in his own backfield. As Fairfield did a great job defending that play. They swarmed to the ball carrier, and it was about a decent loss there for the Comets, as it would be 3rd and 7.
Canoe, the man in motion. Adams going to roll out to his strong side. Under pressure, fires as he's hit, and it's going to be caught on the sideline. Alec Dardas getting the catch on the sideline, and the official initially ruled it a catch. Now they're saying no, and they're going to rule that an incompletion. Let's see this again.
And Dardas was running a crossing route from the opposite side of the field. He was able to gain some separation from his man, and it looked like he wasn't able to get his feet in bounds. Maybe the ball hit the ground as well. And the Comets will play it safe here, putting senior punter Reed Naglich here to punt it. And they have a chance to really pin them deep in their own territory.
Eric All back deep for the Indians. Naglich has a chance to pin the Indians back deep, just like the last possession after the penalty. They barely get the play off. Kick is up and deep, and that's going to take a favorable Mason bounce right out at about the 11-yard line. Excellent job by Naglich to put it inside the 20.
And Fairfield will start this drive at their own 10-yard line. They've started drives on their own 10-yard line twice here at the beginning of the second half. And the Comets have definitely dominated the field position battle here in this game.
And with as hot as the Mason defense has been since the end of the second quarter, it's a really tough task for the Fairfield offense right now to get something going.
As Fairfield will take the field, they usually do their damage on the ground, but with a 2-possession lead, it was interesting to see if they adjusted the passing game or they keep running the ball. This has been their staple. It's a spread formation, so all things considered, probably be a pass as Tyus drops back.
Tyus looking over the top into coverage, looking for All. Tyree with excellent man-to-man coverage on the edge.
And we saw the beginning of that play, Manziel was playing press coverage. He was right on All at the line of scrimmage, forcing him kind of towards the out of bounds, making it difficult for Tyus to throw that ball to him. But that was a great show of press coverage by Manziel, and then Zabe Hamden in the backfield, disrupting Tyus, hitting him after he threw the ball.
He's also got to be careful going low at the legs after the play. You don't want to get a roughing the quarterback, but was lucky there. Robinson in motion. Hand off to Boykin, trying to find some room on the left side, and he's going to be stopped after a minimal gain. And a big third down is going to come up here after Casey Miller got the tackle.
And Fairfield gets about half the distance here for this first down as they use Chico Robinson as a decoy in motion, as it looked like they were going to run a sweep to the outside, but they gave it to Boykin for an inside run. And that was a solid 5-yard run on second down, as it will force a 3rd and 5 for the Fairfield Indians, as the Comet defense have done a great job stopping him on third down to this point.
2 men in the backfield next to Tyus. Tyus is going to hand it off to McClain, trying to dance around the 20-yard line, and a big tackle by Terrell Mizell right at the first down marker, but they're going to mark that he had just enough to move the chains.
It looked like at the end of that play, McClain stretched the ball out before he got down, making it a first down for Fairfield. And if you're the Fairfield Indians, that's huge, as it just seemed like nothing was going their way to start this second half. And just converting a first down, something to go their way, is a positive sign for the Fairfield Indians to see if they can capitalize on this first down conversion and extend this drive further.
Tyus is going to look to throw, and looks like it's just out of the outstretched arms of Boykin on the play.
And Naglers was on the coverage there for the Comets, as if Boykin was able to catch that, he wouldn't get very many yards after the catch, as he was right there with him. Good coverage there by Reed Naglers as he was guarding, doing some zone coverage there, covering the flats. Also Jalen Johnson looked to be there as well. So good good show of zone coverage there by the Comet defense. But the throw by Tyus was a little bit overthrew him a little bit, and it'll be about 3rd and 5 here it'll be 2nd and 10, sorry, for Fairfield.
Wide receivers far out to the outside. Tyus looking over the middle, can't complete it to his intended target on the play, Ellis.
Ellis was running a slant route towards the middle. 11, Ellis was running a slant towards the middle of the field, and looked like it was a very tight throw for Tyus to fit through, as he was trying to throw in between Johnson. It looked to be number 19, Dominic Nigro, and they were unable to convert a tight throw, and it'll be 3rd and 10.
Minute 50 remaining in the third. Tyus with a man in motion. Now looking out in the flats to Chico Robinson. And he's going to be brought down at the 25-yard line by Jake Brasher.
Brasher making the key open field tackle after the catch by Chico Robinson, and now force another punt here by Fairfield, as this Mason defense has been very stout in this game, not allowing Fairfield to convert these third downs and forcing them to punt for the majority of their drives. And they really haven't drove the ball since that first half, as it seems like the Comet offense and the Comet defense are starting to figure out Fairfield.
If I'm the Comets, I got to be on all pins and needles, waiting, expecting every kind of fake possible. And it's a bad snap collected by the punter, as he's going to juke out the Comet defense before getting it off. And now it's caught by Logan Dalton at about the 43-yard line, as Dalton, who ran back to start blocking, just kind of looked up and snagged it.
And that play probably gave Coach Kastner a heart attack, as it looked like Mizell, Johnson, and Dalton were all trying to catch the ball. If the Fairfield player would hit one of those players, it would cause a muffed punt. But good job by Fairfield to avoid the blocked punt or fumble recovery by the Comets, just getting something out of that bad snap. But the Comets will start again, once again, in Fairfield territory at the Fairfield 45-yard line.
Canoe in motion, and it's going to be a handoff up the middle to Newhouse. Same play as we saw earlier this quarter, and Newhouse is going to gain a couple.
And Caden Newhouse isn't the biggest runner, but he showed a great deal of power there as he cut up towards the field and put his head down, and he gained about 3 or 4 on that play. Caden Newhouse is more known for his speed and his agility, but he's had a great display of downfield running there, kind of cutting towards the line and putting his head down and getting what he could.
Newhouse and Sora with Adams in the backfield. Hand up to Sora, has some room across the 40, and a solid second down carry by the Comets, really starting to pick up chunks against this Fairfield rushing defense.
And not quite enough for a first down, about 2 or 3 yards short here. It'll be about 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2 for the Comets. And that will look like to be the last play here in this third quarter.
As the Comets start holding up the number 4. They have a 15-0 lead here moving into the fourth quarter. And they have all the momentum in the world as well. Fairfield has not been able to do anything offensively in this second half.
And it just seems like the Comets have figured out Fairfield offensively and defensively. The Fairfield isn't having the same success they had in the first half on both sides of the football, and it's really been all Comets since the middle of the second quarter, I'd say. And it's just, Comets have just showing confidence running their style of football. Even though Fairfield came into this game as the #1 rushing defense, Comets have had pretty good success running the ball through Sora, Newhouse, Dalton, whoever is carrying the ball for the Comets. And they really didn't care about that ranking. I mean, Fairfield had a good job starting this game, but they kept going to it. No doubt that this success passing the ball has opened up some running lanes for Sora and that Comet running backs. But the thing that's really been surprising me in this game, we haven't really said Malik Vaughn's name very often in this game. He hasn't gotten a sack or caused a fumble, making those key crucial plays that we're used to seeing from him. So it'll be interesting to see how he performs here in this fourth quarter.
And you got to give hats off to the offensive line for that. Another Sora carry as he dances through the defense. As you saw right there, all kinds of Indians right around him, somehow threading the needle through that defense. And Matt Sora is showing why he is one of the top running backs in the area. Watch this right here. Makes a couple quick cuts, jukes out 2 defenders, and just keeps moving forward to pick up first down yardage.
And the ball looked like it almost got loose there. Sora was able to get a hand on it before it got loose, but it just seems like Sora can find every available lane that's presented to him, and it showed on that play.
Handoff again to Sora, trying to find some room on the left side. He's going to be thrown to the ground by Malik Vaughn, who says enough of that.
And the frustration is kind of showing in Malik Vaughn in that tackle. That was a pretty rough tackle there on Sora. Nothing dirty or malicious there, but just kind of threw Sora to the ground there, as Sora really couldn't do anything once he saw it land. It was behind him, kind of close to a horse collar, but I wouldn't say it was enough to call a penalty on it, but it was very close. But Malik Vaughn was just able to take Sora from behind and just drag him down by his arms.
Another handoff straight up the middle. Comets really starting to pound this one. And he's going to get back to the original line of scrimmage. And as you mentioned, Vaughn is a guy that committed to UC, and in doing so, turned down a guy named Nick Saban. He had a standing offer from the University of Alabama and decided to stay close to home by committing to the University of Cincinnati.
And it just seems like ever since Luke Fickell took over that program, ever since Tuberville left the program, there just seems to be a resurgence in local Cincinnati recruits committing to UC. There's a few Coleraine players, Dan Bolden and Javon Hicks has committed to UC as well. And Malik Vaughn has kind of encouraged that Cincinnati local surge and making some verbal commitments to UC. And
Adams, some whistles below the play dead.
Before the snap, timeout, Mason.
Mason looking to talk this one over before this third down. And you'd have to imagine that Brooks Kern is getting ready on the sideline.
It'd be interesting to see. We saw him do some kicks before the beginning of the second half, and he was making kicks from like the 25, 20-yard line. So if the Comets are currently sitting at the 25-yard line, if they want to test the young kicker and see what he can do, what better way to do that and kind of testing his range here if they get to a fourth down. But I would like to think the Comets would like to make it easier for him by converting this first down and trying to get into the end zone rather than attempt a field goal. But we still don't know what to expect from Kern. We've only seen his extra points, but from what we saw before the second half, he looked pretty impressive there, kicking some kicks there. Of course, he was a little further back than what he usually would be, but I'd like to see at least one field goal attempt by Kern.
That is Newhouse and Sora sandwiching Adams in the backfield. A wide receiver to each side for the Comets. Adams. It's going to be another handoff. So no, he kept it up the middle, and he's going to be dragged down after a gain of a few, right close to the 20-yard line on the play.
Adams had running room if he was able to break that tackle. This brings up a 4th down for the Comets. And so far the offense is staying on the field, and it looks like they will continue to. Nope, Curran is coming onto the sideline.
Jogging onto the field. He was warming up from about 35 yards before the second half. This one's going to be from 39-40 about. The ball is spotted at the 22. So it's going to be about a 39 or 40-yard field goal from the left hash. Typically, kickers like that a little bit better than the right. And Curran is going to get his first field goal attempt of his young career. He's going to get it off clean. It's got the leg, and it's going to just fall left, I believe. And the Comets still with a 2-score lead. That would have put them up 3 scores with the 18 points.
Even though it was a missed field goal by Curran, it still looked like a good kick. It was just slightly to the left. Looked like maybe if it was on course, it would have been close to the crossbar. But that was still a decent kick there by Curran. His first, not bad for his first attempt in his career. He was able to get the kick off cleanly and had good form and everything. But maybe see if Fairfield can capitalize off the Mason missed field goal on this drive, as there's about 9 minutes left here in this 4th quarter. So eventually here, the Fairfield Indians are going to have to start scoring here.
3 wide receivers for the Indians. Tyus is going to drop back looking to throw. Over the middle into coverage. He's got his man complete. And that's to Eric All for a gain of 10.
Terrell Mazel making that tackle on All. That was enough for a first down, like you said. And Eric All has been kind of the Fairfield's leading receiver throughout this year. And he showed there he's able to move the chains for this Fairfield offense.
Tyus from the shotgun. Out to the flats, and Eric All is going to haul that one in before being flipped by Cole Pierce, who kind of has that textbook diving tackle, and dangerous play there from All. Lands on his head.
Cole Pierce has developed quite the reputation for making those low tackles. It forces a lot of fumbles and a lot of pass breakups. But actually, that was an incomplete, forced an incompletion on that play.
Just like you said.
And Pierce is one of the more sure tackles on this Comet defense, and it showed on that play. And he's also pretty good in pass coverage as well. He did a great job covering All there.
Man in motion is Robinson. He's going to get the jet sweep before running out of room in the backfield, and he's going to be taken down, which will bring up a 3rd and long for the Indians.
And I'm confused on why Chico Robinson kind of stopped there. It looked like if he kept running, he had some sort of running room to the outside. But he tried to reverse his field, but he saw there was nothing really doing there. It looked like he had blockers in front of him. So I'm not sure why he stopped stopped running there. But Logan Dalton and others were there to stop him around the line of scrimmage. And it'll be a 3rd down here for Fairfield.
Packed line of scrimmage, as you can see, and some mishandling in the backfield before Juthan McClain is going to get the carry and be stopped after a gain of a few, which will bring up 4th down. And decision time for Fairfield here at the 37-yard line. And we're waiting to see what Fairfield chooses to do here. It looks like they're going to look to go for it here on 4th and 4. 7.5 minutes remaining in the game. Fairfield down 2 scores, needs to get something out of this drive, and they're going for it here on 4th down.
This could very well be the game, depending on what happens.
Tyus, speed option. He's going to pitch it out to the outside, and Boykin is going to get the 1st down yardage. Jake Brasher on the stop, but just not quick enough, and Boykin is going to pick just enough up for the first down to move the chains.
And with a 2-possession lead, down 15 with about 7 minutes left here in this game, that didn't really surprise me that they didn't elect to punt it. Mason has shown that they're able to run the ball and drain some clock. So when they went for it on 4th down, they pretty much had to get the first down in order to stay in this game and extend the drive forward.
Tyus, another handoff, spin move into the hole, and that's going to be another pickup by Boykin on first down. As the problem with the Fairfield rushing attack is that this clock, which is certainly the Comets' friend right now, at 6 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the game, is continuing to click away as Fairfield just continues to rush in between the tackles.
And I'm confused on why they're not relying on Tyus. Tyus is the second leading passer in the GMC with just under 1,000 yards, so I'm surprised they're not going to Tyus.
He's going high over the middle now and complete to McClain, and a big completion as what they often call the broadcasters jinx, as Tyus finds McClain for the big play.
Big play there by McClain. He's a multi-dimensional player. Just like Chico Robinson, he can run and do damage catching some balls. And that was really the first time they really opened up the pass if they run the option here.
And ball's on the ground and looks like it's recovered by the Comets. Looks like Cole Pierce is going to pick up the fumble recovery. Casey Miller forced it, and just like that, when it seemed like Fairfield gets a 4th down conversion and then a big completion through the air, Casey Miller comes up with the forced fumble, and Cole Pierce is able to fall onto it.
And if the Comets take care of business on offense and drain some clock here, that very well could be the dagger. Big hit by Casey Miller in the backfield, able to shed his block, and then Cole Pierce recovering it on the fumble.
Comets got to be really careful that they don't give this one right back to the Indians. Newhouse and Sora in the backfield with Adams. One wide receiver to each side, Simmons and Croy. And it's a handoff straight up the middle to Sora. Spins through one tackle and he's going to fall forward for a great yard, great gain.
And this kind of reminds me of last year in the playoff game against Elder, where they ran it 11 straight times to Sora to drain clock when they had the lead in that game. So it would not surprise me one bit if they just gave it to Sora, Logan Dalton, maybe Will Adams keeps it every now and then. But the Comets have shown that they're just willing to run some smash mouth football and give it to Sora, their playmaker, and just drain some clock. And it's not really surprising me one bit.
With as big as this game is, they're going to do everything possible. It's going to be a handoff straight up the middle to Logan Dalton. Now that's Caden Newhouse, the fullback on the carry. And with 5 minutes and 15 seconds left, the Comets are facing a 3rd down.
It'd be interesting to see what the time of possession is here in this game. It just seems like the Comets have had the ball all second half, and really Fairfield hasn't really been converting first downs. They've been getting 3 and outs, and the Comets have just been keeping the ball in their hands and not allowing Fairfield to have the ball. And this running offense has really been a huge testament to that as they're draining clock here at the end of this game.
Another handoff to Sora, and he's going to try to fight for extra yards as he's just shoved back by all of the Fairfield defense. As there you saw Eric Miller rush in at the end to try to break that up. And that'll bring on the punting unit for the Comets as the clock does continue to roll within 4 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in the game. And we're going to throw it down to our sideline reporter, Aiden Crowley, with a little bit more information for us.
Yeah, in this football game, Brian mentioned early that Fairfield has the #1 rushing defense in the GMC. I don't think the Comets really care, and they've been going right at Malik Vaughn for a majority. Christian Hutchinson has been huge for the Comets, picking up that tackle, or that Vaughn on the block, and he's been huge for the Comets to open up a big hole for Sora, and obviously drain a lot of clock.
There you see 38, Brian Whitney with the recovery. Thank you, Aiden. And Fairfield's got their work set out in front of them. They got to score 2 touchdowns and get a 2-point conversion with one of them. And it all in under 4 minutes with the Comet defense on an absolute tear right now. Fairfield has got a couple good plays
Fairfield, 5-yard penalty. We may have to measure.
As the Indians, it looks like they're just going to be pushed back a few yards.
Looked like it could have been, I think they said an offside, so it would be very close to close to the first down marker. If it's a first down for the Comets, it could be huge.
And as he said, they might have to measure with the 5 yards. And we don't see the line of scrimmage moving. And it would be interesting if this were a 4th and inches. I couldn't see the Castner pulling the trigger on the 4th and goal. And they're looking at, I think they're going to mark this one just short.
And if you're Coach Castner, there's no reason to go for it unless you just want to set the tone and end the game early. But I mean, if you have a 2-possession lead, there's no sense of going for it and then getting stopped on 4th and inches and giving Fairfield great field position to make it a 1-possession lead.
I think they're going to bring out the chain gang for this one as well. And like you said, I just think I can't see them going for it as it looks like Reed is on the field. But it's just too much risk for not that much reward. With as good as your defense has been playing, you're still trying to pin them back by punting it away. Naglich has been a very good punter, and it is going to be just too far, and it is that far away from a first down for the Comets.
And it looks like, just based off the huddle, Zaid Hamden's in the huddle, so they might run a short down conversion. Reed Naglich makes his way to the sideline, so Coach Castner is keeping his offense on the field, and he's trying to kind of put the dagger into this game. Very interesting call here by Coach Castner. He's trying to go for the game here.
Zaid Hamden on the field for some extra weight on the offensive line. Brasher, Zaid, and Eric Miller all on the left side. The officials they were looking at the ball. The play clock did not start, which might be the pause. This is a power formation from both sides. All 22 men in the same box. And it looked like they almost threw Fairfield offsides. Comets do have 3 timeouts.
And it looks like the Comets may be trying to draw them off sides.
Play clock down to 5. And Castner's going to call a timeout from the sideline. I do not dislike that idea too much. You really had Fairfield up on the ball of their feet, looking to come after that one. And that was very close to getting Fairfield to jump.
And if they would have gotten them to jump, it would have been a first down, and maybe that'd be all she wrote here in this game. But I am not against trying to draw them off sides. I would have been very confused if they tried to convert that 4th down. If they would have missed it, Fairfield would have had the ball at Mason territory. And as we can see here, the Mason punting team is coming back on the field, and they're trying to win the field position battle here as they're trying to close the game, make it as difficult as possible for Fairfield to drive down the field and put points on the board. But Naglich is ready to punt here for the Comets.
And that also gives your defense a good amount more rest to really prepare for what they are about to have to do and make these big stops. 3 minutes and 56 seconds remaining on the clock. Reed Naglich back to punt. Clean snap and clean kick. This one's going to go back to Eric Gall, and a great bounce for the Comets. It's going to bounce inside the 10, inside the 5, and will be spotted. They're going to spot it right at the 3-yard line, which really reminds me of last year with the Elder punt by Naglich, where he got it down at the 1. And shout out to Reed Naglich for getting a great punt, great bounce, and everything going Mason's way. And Fairfield's going to be trying to claw out of the shadow of their own goalpost here with 3 3/4 minutes remaining in this game.
And another drive for Fairfield deep inside their own territory. Another play at their own goal line, as they've had, I believe, 3 in the second half alone. So Mason has really dominated the field position battle in this second half. And if Fairfield wants to get back into this game, they have to have a quick score here, or else they're just going to run out of time.
Fairfield ties in the end zone, trying to throw it out to the flats. And it's McLean on the reception. It's going to get just a few yards to try to avoid that risk of a safety. And that will run the clock. No first down and in the field of play. So a good positive to get out of the shot of the end zone, though.
But I feel the Comets are more than content with allowing that catch. As it keeps the clock moving, the chains don't move, clock keeps moving, and they don't really gain a whole lot of yards.
Tyus, and a big hit as it was caught on the play, as Ellis was able to pull that one in and hold on as Tyree nailed him.
Great show of hands there by Ellis, being able to take in that pass by Tyus, and that makes the clock start for the chains to move. And
Tyus dodges a man in the backfield. Naglich coming up, and it's going to be incomplete on the sideline.
And as we see 2:57 left here in this fourth quarter, it looks like if the clock is going to move, the Fairfield will try to run a no huddle and increase the pace of play here. But every stop ball, they'll go to a huddle. But look to see Fairfield increase the tempo here and trying to score early.
Black Hole currently doing the goodbye chant. They believe this one's in the hands of the Comets. Tyus is going to fire over the middle, and a big hit but no wrap up, and solid tackle there from the Comets as all hauls it in.
Yeah, it looked like it was either Naglich or Pierce, maybe Niagara. I couldn't tell who exactly it was, but if you're trying to make a hit like that, you got to finish the job and make sure there isn't any extra yards after the catch. But that's not enough for the first down as the clock continues to move.
They're going to run it here to Boykin, who's going to just be trapped in the backfield. And then you see Naglich, Miller, all the guys, as Fairfield is going to have to burn a timeout to prevent the clock from rolling down another 20 seconds.
And I do not understand that play call by Fairfield. I know you're trying to get the first down and trying to get the clock to stop when they move the chains, but you got to sometimes plan for the worst. And if you're stopped behind the line of scrimmage before the first down, the clock is going to move, and that forces you to blow a timeout, and that's something you don't want to do, especially with a 15-0 lead with about 2 minutes left in this game. So I do not understand that play call by Fairfield. If they were ever stopped behind the line of scrimmage like they were there, the clock is going to continue to move, and you don't want to give up your precious timeouts in a 2-possession lead with less than with the clock where it is right now. So I don't really understand that play call.
It's going to be 4th down with 3 yards to gain. This is certainly the game if Fairfield cannot convert. There you see in the gold shoes, Jack Carmen, the big left tackle. Fairfield in passing formation with 3 wide receivers set. But they do have all as a lead blocker. But Tyus is going to throw this one. In trouble in the backfield, and he will not be able to escape. Zaid Hamden with the sack is going to turn it over on downs, and the Comets will have the ball. 2:16 left in the game, up 15.
And if that play isn't an indication of how well the Mason defense has been doing on key 3rd and 4th downs, I don't know what is. That was a great stop there, a very key stop by Hamden and this defensive line. This forces a turnover on downs for Fairfield, and pretty much the game right here, as all Mason has to do is run this clock out and go back to the locker room as a winner.
Only 2 timeouts remaining for Fairfield. Handoff, Sora trying to follow his blockers on the left side, and he's going to pull up a late flag coming in at the original spot of the snap. That does roll off the time, as it's going to be a quick holding call against the Comets. We're going to throw it down real quick to our sideline reporter, Aiden, for some more information.
So, Brian, you mentioned those 3rd and 4th downs for the Comets defensively, and I think it just has to go with
Holding 62.
how well the Comets have been controlling the line of scrimmage. Both sides of the football, Comets are getting the jump early. They're pushing them back into either their backfield or back into the linebackers if you're on the offense. This offense and defensive line for the Comets has been exceptional in this football game, and that's why we see a 15-0 score. Back to you, Joey.
Thank you, Aiden. And the ball is spotted at the 35-yard line for a 1st and 20. Comets in a bit of a hole, but fortunately for them, the clock is rolling under 2 minutes, and it's still 1st down.
And it looks like Fairfield's content to let this clock roll out, as they didn't use one of their timeouts before that play.
Adams to Sora again. Plows straight through the defensive line. And he's going to pick up another chunk on the play.
And if this score holds up here, this will be the 2nd straight shutout this Mason Comet defense has put on a GMC opponent. And this one is a little bit more impressive than the Princeton one, but great show by both sides of the ball for the Comets.
A little unfortunate there. We just saw Malik Vaughn slow to get up, holding his arm. As we have just a minute remaining in this game. And the Comets looking to run this one out. Sora again. No timeout from Fairfield. And it looks like they've given up their chances with now 50 seconds remaining. And one more snap here on Dwire Field for the Comets.
And with the win here against Fairfield, this does wonders for the Comets, as we said pregame that the one knock on the Mason Comets is they haven't had that key signature win yet this season. That's why they find themselves on the bubble at the 8th seed. But with an impressive win here and a pretty convincing win here against Fairfield, it'll only move them up higher in the standings. And they could very well clinch their way into the playoffs at least. But
it's going to take one more snap here with 10 seconds on the clock. And Adams, a senior quarterback, first-year starter, is going to take one last kneel down as the clock rolls down to 0. And the Comet seniors are going to get a win on their last game at Dwire Field. 15-0. Comets hold Fairfield scoreless here on senior night.
And a very impressive showing by the Comets, and just a pretty crucial win here for the Comets. The Comets definitely didn't want the game, their playoff chances, to come down to their game against East next week at Lakota East. So if they could get a key signature win on senior night against a team like Fairfield, and that was just a huge win from the Comets in terms of playoff implications, GMC implications, and that was the signature win that the Mason Comets were looking for.
And so the Comets, with not just a victory over Fairfield, but a dominant victory, as they pull away and win 15-0, and just an all-around dominant victory, especially in that second half. Fairfield really never had a legit offensive chance in that second half.
And that really began more towards the middle of the second quarter when the Mason Comets struck first. Ever since that drive to end the first half for the Comets, they really just seized the momentum from that drive and just really carried it on into the second half. And Fairfield really just didn't have that same showing that they had in that first quarter, as they really just struggled to move the ball, as they were constantly in their own end zone, it seemed like, in that second half. So it was very difficult to start any drive when you're deep in your own end zone. But that Comet defense really had an impressive showing here in this game.
To go 8 straight quarters since last giving up a point is extremely impressive in 2 football games, especially against a team in Fairfield. I mean, this Fairfield team not only beat, but pretty much blew out the Sycamore Aviators on Sycamore's own turf a few weeks ago. And it was a really impressive win there, as I think we're going to listen into what Catherine has to say to the Comets.
In a long time. We did great things last year. Tonight, we grabbed another piece of greatness. squeeze hug you've ever given them in your life. And I don't care if you go up in the stands and you find them. You hear me? Right now when we break, you go find them and you give them a hug in that stands and you tell them how much they mean to you. You hear me? I love you. Make good decisions. Sing it. You sing, yes. You sing and you run up there. You hear me? Who are we? Let's go.
And if that doesn't get you hyped, I don't know what will. As Kastner addressing his comments as they run over to sing to the home stands for one last time here at Dwire. And, I mean, this is a tradition from every home game. And sometimes it's a little bitter after the Comets drop one. But this ends a perfect home season for the Comets, 5-0.
And the Comets really just been dominant all season at home. I believe they've had 3 shutouts at home. One against Withrow, not at home, but they've had 3 shutouts on the year. They had the one against Withrow begin the year. They had one at Princeton, and then they had one here against Fairfield. And really, we're going to give you a post-game interview with senior running back Matt Sora once he's done singing his alma mater on senior night. It's something he'll never forget, along with these other seniors. But just you can see the emotion on the Comets' faces here, how much this win meant to them in front of their home crowd. Most likely their last time here on Dwire Field. So it's great to see those players get the win.
A full cast of 29 seniors on this team that will be departing for the rest of their lives. And it's going to be one last fight song there, as you see the Comets rallying in front of the student section. And this is such a huge win for playoff implications. Fairfield's coming to this game ranked 4th in the standings, and Mason was 8th, and I'd have to imagine they're jumping to at least 6th with this huge win tonight. And we're going to see if we can throw it down to Aiden, who's going to try to find Sora on the sidelines for in just a couple moments. But Sora on the night was the leading rusher for the Comets. Don't have the stats in front of me, but I'd say between 20 and 30 carries. And we're going to throw it down now to Aiden, who is with senior running back Matthew Sora.
All right. So, Matt, obviously, Coach Kastner in this offense called on you early and often, and you came out with a big win here tonight. What does this mean for you and the team?
I mean, it's a huge win against Fairfield, a great team in the GMC once again. I mean, on senior night, there's nothing better.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Big win. Good job out there tonight.
And Sora leading the Comets for not just this senior year, but sophomore year and junior year. He burst onto the scene sophomore year, and junior year was the prime running back. And that's going to be a career that will go down in the history books for the Mason Comets. It's been an absolute pleasure broadcasting with you guys tonight, and we'll catch you the next time we get an opportunity to. As with my partner Brian and now, I've been Joey Dean. Thank you for tuning in to ICRC TV Sports, and we'll see you next time.